Hello everyone, this is Ian. Another analyst video coming at you, which is basically all my channel is at this point. Not like I had much going for me before. But we got another coach interview for us today, and we got a special one today. Mr. Undefeated, Mr. 4-Obi with a cursed Mega Manetric himself. Say hi.
Guys, it's me, WilltheMost.
ah. So, we're going to learn the secrets behind your successful season. It's mostly been Diggersby.
This has been a fun season. Ready to talk about it?
I bet. Alright, so we'll start off with a simple question. About your history with Pokemon and stuff. So how long have you been into Pokemon and competitive in general?
So I started playing in second grade, small kid like most people here. And then I got into competitive actually really early when I was in fifth grade because my friend told me about Showdown. And then from there I started playing. I got relatively high in the OU ladder when I was in seventh grade. I peaked top 250, I think.
Wow.
I was really into the GBA when it first came out, seasons 1 through 4, watched them. And then sort of fell off it recently into the draft league community. It's been a lot of fun since then.
Ah, nice. So, what transitioned you from competitive to draft league? Like, how'd you get into that?
Well, I was watching the GBA, and it was actually a funny story. I wanted to start out my own league, so I went on GameFAQs as, I made a league with a couple people. I'm still in contact with a couple of them. And then from there, I just sort of went more into the league community. Down group chat, I met Robin and XRN, and then through Robin, I got into the Hive, and that's how I'm here.
Oh, that's sweet. I didn't know you could start leagues on GameFAQs.
I steamrolled the first couple, and then occasionally there's a couple of really good players. There's this guy, Mr. L'Oreal. I had a couple great games against him. A couple other great players, but not the best.
Yeah, well, I can imagine.
Yeah.
So, you recently said how you got into Hive. How long have you been in Hive?
But season 1 I was in Kakuna, and I went like 3-7. I had an awful team. I just didn't put in that much effort. I went down to Weedle. Had a great season, promoted back to Kakuna last year, and then dropped 3 of my last 4, so I'm still in Kakuna, but now it's renamed Beedrill. So I'm hoping to promote this year.
Oh yeah. I remember last year you had a great start to that season too. Like I said, that was the one where you 4-0'd me with Cursed Mega Manetric and the best game of my life.
It was the single greatest game I've ever played, bar none. That was so entertaining to see it work.
I know, right? Like, you can't even be mad when that kind of thing happens.
Because your team scared the shit out of me. And I was like, I have to come up with something weird. And so I DM'd Robin, and I was like, Robin, I have this cursed Mega Man trick. And he was like, Will, you're a fucking idiot. And then I ran it anyways. It was fun.
I mean, hey, can't knock it if it worked. Yeah, everyone said they were scared to hell of my team. Like, everyone thought I was going to win just based off my team, and I just kind of played like Dong and got haxed, but mostly the Dong part.
Yeah. Equal parts.
I like how you just agreed with me.
I thought you played that one game against me because I don't remember many games that I wasn't involved in.
Yeah, I gotcha. Just
recently, although I think you played relatively poorly around the Heat Train with no disrespect, but
yeah,
can't really expect sets like that.
Yeah. Oh, at that point, I was already owned by a Mega Manetric. I couldn't. I wasn't really thinking at that point.
And you're a great guy, so it's just nice talking to you during the game,
Yeah. Well, hey, thank you. I appreciate that. All right. Enough about my embarrassing past. We'll move on. So, what do you think? You said you've been in Kakuna, which is now Beedrill, for a couple seasons. What do you think of the competition this season compared to previous ones?
Season is about, although I do think it might be a bit harder because Ace and Genius both dropped down, and they're both phenomenal players. David Omega are both, and Rizzy Pool also, who I just played and had a great game against. And yeah, everyone's just really bringing their A game, and it's a lot of fun to be in it and be with everyone. Joao is great as always.
Glad I'm not the only one that struggles with his name.
Always been a great player, and I'm excited to play against him in week 9, I think.
Ah, yeah. Nice. So, see. Oh yeah. So, this is a bit of an obvious question for you, but how are you feeling about your performance this season?
This has been a good season. Last season I started the same way, 6-0, and then I just dropped the ball in 3 of my last 4 games. So this season I'm hoping I can keep it up. But yeah, it's been a lot of fun. I love building with this team, and why I think I'm doing so well this season, I'm putting a lot of time into my prep, and I'm getting a lot of different mocks and stuff, and seeing what works and what doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
Making a lot of last minute changes to my team, and my other thing is that I play super aggressively.
Oh
and
yeah.
I've really taken it work out.
Yeah, I've watched your games and you've made a lot of solid reads and plays. I know that they've all ended up being pretty close, but a lot of them did feel like you were in control and able to control the match. So I think you've been doing really well in the play style part. I'm sorry. What did you say last? You kind of broke up there.
Thanks, and it's a fun season. I'm liking my team,
Yeah,
and it's a great guys in B drill this year.
Yeah, and I mean I've noticed this season that you're that every game you've brought Diggersby, you've kind of destroyed with it.
Because no one really can stop Diggersby defensively. Because the thing is that my team is structured so that Mega Gallade, because everyone knows how big of a threat Mega Gallade is, and then Gallade, you don't really think about Diggersby, and then Diggersby can just come in and clean up.
Ah, yeah. No shade on APB. ABP. I keep calling him APB by accident. ABP,
Yeah.
But I saw what you did to him last week.
What actually happened with that game was I got smashed in every single one of my mocks, so I was like, I need to change something up. So 20 minutes before the game, I'm looking at my team. I had a Drodagon set on there. I'm like, screw it, I'm taking this off. I put on Zapdos. I make that set in about 10 minutes. And then it ends up working to sweep. So that was just a fun game. I was super scared for that game. I was shocked that the set worked out.
Yeah, I can imagine, you can't really prep for a speed passing Zapdos. It's just not something that you usually see.
I was inspired because one time, leagues against a really good opponent, I ran an Agility Pass Mega Lopunny, and then I swept the guy with a Hydreigon. So that was sort of what I was thinking with that.
Ah, nice. See, you have a lot of innovation, and I think that goes right into our next question. What do you think makes you so dangerous? What is your biggest strength as a draft player?
The biggest strength is that very creatively, and I spend a lot of time building to build a team that I really think will be able to win in the week, even if I can try to overcome it with essentially gimmicks. In the game, if I am losing, I will pull crazy stunts with switches and stuff. Weird plays to try to bring it back in my favor. I saw that with that happened this week with Rizzy Pool.
Mm-hmm.
After he killed my Gallade. But then I pulled it back by making aggressive switches. I went for a Hidden Power Ground on an Amoonguss to catch a Heatran on a switch, and just stuff like that to really gain momentum.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen the game yet, but I believe you. I'm sure it's going to be a fun one to watch. So, next one we'll go on to, the next one is about the Hive in general. This one is, what do you think of? I know that a lot of changes have been made this season. That we've had the point system come in. We've had the fact that divisions don't don't matter for really anything other than scheduling purposes, and the top 8 players make it. What do you think of the changes that have happened to Hive this season?
It really makes a lot of sense, and it's a lot better than just, oh, you happen to win one, you have one more differential point than this person, so you go in.
Yeah, I gotcha.
It's a solid season overall. I really like it. The playoff format, I didn't really notice. It doesn't make a huge difference on me. I never really thought about it. But after how the divisions ended up last year and beat in Kakuna, it makes a lot of sense.
Well, yeah, and I noticed, like, especially with your division, like, you have, I think, David and, Magic as he goes by. You have, like, David and, Omega in your division, and they're both 4-1, so, like, your division's actually, like, really stacked.
Genius, who don't cut out yet. He's going to have a strong last couple weeks. I can feel it.
Oh, yeah, like, I've seen Genius. Like, I know he can bounce back, and like you said, he was in Mega Beat Drill. It's just, like, I can imagine, like, with the way the divisions are stacked, just because he has you three in his division, he would just never make it into playoffs in the traditional season.
I like the new system because it allows for him to make the playoffs and when it might be tough for him otherwise. So I guess it's nice. I never really thought about it.
Yeah, I suppose. So, So as someone who's promoted from Weedle back to where he was, what do you think of the new promotion system that allows for points rather than just bottom 3 relegate and top 3 promote?
Much better. It makes the leagues a lot more fluid, and it rewards a really good player in the wrong league. Like, for example, I don't remember who it is. I'm going to check the doc right now.
Okay, take your time.
I think it's Mio. Really jumped up leagues when he deserves to be up there, so I don't know. It's great. I like it. Because, for example, when I promoted from Weedle, I had the 3rd best record, and I lost the finals. So I just promoted because someone dropped out of Kakuna.
Oh.
New system, I would have promoted regardless. So it really lets someone like me, who in that scenario might not have been promoted, it really rewards a good season.
I see, and yeah, I think you've at this point proven that you deserve no offense to people in Weedle, but you deserve to be outside of that realm, and kind of proved yourself as a battler at this point. Yeah. So, with all that said, we're currently playing in a much different meta than previous formats. What do you think of the Gen 7 meta past Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, and just all the changes that were made in this meta with Z moves and all the little tech moves we got, the abundance of hazard removers, all of the fairies?
The biggest thing, as you mentioned, by far, is the hazard removals. Giving Rotom and Landorus and all those mods defog is huge. It really changed up the game.
Yeah.
Sorry about something, because I never played Ultra Sun or Ultra Moon.
I'm sorry. Could you repeat your answer real quick? My computer cut out for a couple seconds.
The biggest change by far is defog being given to a lot of mons like Landorus and the Rotoms.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't really noticed much else because I never played Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon, but occasionally I'll be caught off guard by something just because I didn't know about it. It's interesting. I don't know. Gen 6 was like the meta that I really got into, so adjusting to Gen 7 was kind of weird when it first happened. That's why I did so poorly in Season 1.
Well, yeah, just as I can imagine in the beginning of the Gen 7 meta, just Z moves changed the game so much, especially for draft.
Sure.
Yeah. Plus, there's a whole bunch of fairies running around just with the Tapus coming along, and like all that, and like you got like Comfy, like you got a lot of like more lower tier fairies and stuff. It kind of just changed the meta in a way.
It definitely like made dragon types a lot less broken, because with the introduction of Z moves, it obviously made a huge change. But it's important in Season 1 because it wasn't adjusted to Z moves. And so a mon like Dragonite or Salamence, which in Gen 6 would have been absolutely busted with the Z move,
Mm-hmm.
they're now a lot less a lot easier to deal with because they still have these moves, but there's so many more fairies running around and Tapu Fini with Misty Terrain and stuff makes all those mons a lot more doable, I guess.
Yeah, I gotcha. And I was talking to I think Daniel about it earlier, but there were Pokemon such as like Mega Altaria that in previous gens where there weren't an abundance of fairies. It was just a monster and was drafted. It was like one of the top tier picks, but like now that fairies are such a big part of the metagame, I don't see it drafted as often. Like it doesn't really go in the top rounds anymore.
Yeah, that's definitely true. Something like Mega Altaria and now Mega Sableye was nerfed heavily just because of the abundance of fairies, so it definitely makes a huge difference upon drafts.
Yeah, and I can imagine how it must like affect their tiering and stuff. So, uh, we'll go into the final little segment that I got here. Just a couple preference questions. See what your preferences are in the draft community and stuff. So, if you could draft a Pokemon on every team, like you had to build your team around this Pokemon, what would it be?
Like, easily.
I'm sorry, what?
Like a first round pick. But Milotic is always a mon that can fit on any team. It can wall out any team, and it just works.
Oh yeah, Milotic. Yeah, especially with the burn nerf this generation. Like that thing's a monster.
Thing I noticed, and I've been loving it so much.
Yeah, like I noticed I didn't use Milotic that well in my last season, but I've seen you use it, and I think I'm starting to realize like how terrifying that thing is defensively.
A lot of fun.
Yeah, it's a really good mon. So, another question: if you could battle anyone in the draft community, doesn't need to even be in Hive. If you could battle anyone, what would your dream match be? Who would your dream match to go against be?
This is easy. I want to take on the best player, so I'm gonna have to go with ZDH on this one. I don't know if I'd get anywhere close to beating him, but he just has such a mastery of the game, you know?
Yeah, I get what you're saying. So, I got two more questions, but this one is the most important one. I don't know. I hope you're ready for it. What evil team are you?
The most threatening one.
Wait, I'm sorry. What did you say?
Because they're the most threatening.
Huh. Okay.
Came really close to destroying the world.
Yeah, I mean, uh, you s- wait. You said Galactic, right? Uh, yeah. I mean, I guess you can't go wrong with that. Yeah, I was such a nerd at Gen 4, and I loved Cyrus just because he was just so cool, just a megalomaniac and stuff.
He was a team composition with like the Weavile, Crobat, Houndoom, and he's just a cool dude, you know? He almost achieved his goals. Interesting. He almost got Giratina and destroyed the world.
Yeah, and I mean, just being able to control Giratina in of itself is such a big accomplishment. So this is the last question I will ask you, and it's a very personal question. How does it feel to be the only undefeated coach in Beedrill at this point?
Undefeated coach in Beedrill. What I don't think you understand is I'm the only undefeated coach in the Hive, so it is amazing.
Oh, I actually did not know that. So how does it feel to be the only undefeated coach in the Hive?
And, you know, it's just like I'm just so excited because I'm going into Summer Showdown with a lot of confidence now because I know that I can beat really good players and succeed in tough leagues. So
Yeah, I mean, congrats, man. You've been doing amazing. Like, props to you. And I hope that confidence carries you to great success, and I hope you can keep it up.
I mean, man, it was a good time.
Yeah. So hey, thanks for coming on, and thanks for sharing us your bits of wisdom today.
Yeah, no problem. It was a fun game, or a fun talk.
Yeah. Yeah, I get what you're saying. So, any final comments you'd like to say?
So when are you coming back to the Hive?
When am I coming back to the Hive? I don't know. Maybe next season. Maybe I will. Maybe I'll think about it. Maybe I'll stay on as an analyst. Maybe I'll do multiple leagues. Or maybe I'll just come back and fight the good fight. Maybe actually win a playoff game this time.
I won last season. It's okay.
Yeah.
How can you, man? Good
Yep.
luck getting all these done.
Yep. Well, thank you. I'm trying my best. Uh.
Rankings have been amazing so far. They've been awesome. So
Hey. Well, thank you. That's it. That's it, everybody. Goodbye.